Welcome to the 5 questions here on the 5. It's 5 questions with Mike Lederer. Mike, how you doing?
Doing well, Nick. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic. We are here in the, we got you in the newsroom, me in the other newsroom. Miles apart are we, but we'll get it figured out.
Gotta love technology.
Gotta love it. So, Mike, we'll start things off in the Western Conference. We're actually talking hockey today, Mike. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Never happens on the site, but we're gonna do it today. The Western Conference, defending champions, Chicago Blackhawks. You know, they're looking at the 8th seed. What's going on out there?
Well, you know, defending champion Blackhawks. I always follow the mantra of Ric Flair: to be the best, you got to beat the best. But the question right now is, will last year's best even make the postseason? Blackhawks currently with 90 points through 75 games, clinging on to that 8th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference. It looks like they're going to get into the postseason, but I'm not sure how far a run they're going to make once the playoffs actually begin, Nick. You know, they had to make a lot of changes last offseason due to the NHL's hard salary cap, and they struggled out of the gate during the 2010-2011 season, got hot through January and February, but have really struggled down the stretch here with key injuries to Patrick Sharp and Dave Bolland. They're going to need Taves and Kane to step up and lead them down the stretch and into the playoffs if the Blackhawks want to have any chance of repeating.
Now, so for a hockey guy like me who doesn't know anything about hockey, who else do you like going in the Western Conference into the playoffs?
Well, I mean, based on the regular season, you have to like the Vancouver Canucks. 109 points, leading the entire NHL, an 11-point lead right now over the Detroit Red Wings, who are in second place in the West. But with Roberto Luongo, he's been shaky in big games in the past. He's always going to be a question mark heading into the postseason, so you can't necessarily say Vancouver's a lock to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. Detroit Red Wings are always going to be in the discussion, and they deserve to be in the discussion once again. They have tremendous depth throughout their forwards and defense. And another team I like is the Phoenix Coyotes, a young team that made some nice moves at the trading deadline. They pushed Detroit to 7 games last year in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. A little more experience this year. I think clinging on to that 4th seed in the West, they can make a deep run.
Now, out east, you got the Philadelphia Flyers, your hometown boys, the Broad Street Bullies, as you call them. You know, they're holding on to that top seed. They've done it throughout the season. What are your thoughts on them in the postseason?
Well, you know, the Flyers really built upon their Stanley Cup run last year coming out of the gate during this season. They've held on to that top spot in the Eastern Conference throughout the year, but the question is, will they hold on for the duration of the season? I mean, they've really struggled over the last 6 weeks of the season. Over their last 15 games, they're just 4-6-5. And with the Flyers, it's always going to come down to goaltending. It seems to be their question mark every year. Right now, they have young 22-year-old rookie Sergei Bobrovsky in net. They also have veteran Brian Boucher. Coach Peter Laviolette has not decided yet who's going to be the goalie heading into the playoffs. I think it'll end up being Bobrovsky, but going with a young rookie goaltender heading into the postseason, I don't know how that's going to work out. He's going to have a big test on Tuesday night with first place on the line in the Atlantic Division against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, and still out east, you've got a bunch of teams that are just bunched up waiting to get into the playoffs. How do you see it all kind of shaking out?
Well, I think ultimately the Buffalo Sabres are going to hold on to that 8th and final spot in the Eastern Conference. 85 points right now, a 5-point lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. Looks like the question is going to be where the seeding ends up between the 6, 7, and 8 spot. Right now, Montreal Canadiens with 87 points, New York Rangers also with 87 points, tied for that 6th seed. Buffalo just behind them at 85. Really like the way the Rangers are playing heading into the postseason. Henrik Lundqvist doing a great job in net, and Marian Gaborik back healthy. Watch out for New York.
So, heading into the playoffs, it seems like you've got everything locked up. Who do you like?
Out west, I think Detroit's going to be in the mix. Another team that I did not mention was the San Jose Sharks, but time and time again, Sharks are a great regular season team who always come up small in the postseason. And in the Eastern Conference, 2 teams that we haven't yet discussed, the Washington Capitals changed their defensive system coming into the season and really struggled out of the gate, but that was ultimately to build towards a long postseason run. It'll be interesting to see how they play heading into the playoffs, especially with Alexander Ovechkin coming back from injury. Another team that we have to talk about is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Evgeny Malkin out for the season with a torn ACL. Sidney Crosby's missed the past 2.5 months with post-concussion syndrome, but it looks like Crosby might be back for the postseason, and head coach Dan Bleisman has done an outstanding job keeping that team towards the top of the Eastern Conference, even through the adversity of injuries.
So, I hear that you're a postseason beard guy. Is that coming?
You know, Nick, I'm not sure. I've done the playoff beard in the past, but if my Flyers make a deep run, that could get pretty nasty looking. I got that nasty Coy Detmer neck beard that happens, and I'm not sure anybody wants to see that, but hey, maybe if our viewers at the 5 want to see it, might have to consider it.
I would hope nobody wants to see that. Thanks for stopping by, Mike. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Nick.
That's 5 questions here on the 5. with Mike Lederer. We'll be back for more. Check back soon. We've got the 5 for 5 coming up later.